Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Well, it is a beautiful day today. The high is like 79. It's a little bit breezy, it's been sunny and a little bit overcast. It's been really beautiful.
Shocker that we have some work to get done today. We need to take full advantage of these nice days.
But this is going to be really fun. We're going to be doing some planting today. Remember that a few weeks ago we built a huge chicken moat around a 1 acre piece of our property so that we could have an orchard, berries, gardens and stuff. And we put some arches over the chicken moat in 4 different areas. Well, today we're going to be planting so that there are some things that can grow vines over and provide some shade to the chickens and a sense of security from aerial predators.
Now these things are going to take a while to start growing, so we need to get them in the ground so that they have time to get up and over those panels before the really hot weather comes and the chickens have a nice cool place to hang out during the day.
Now we hadn't completely figured out how exactly we were going to grow, whether it would be in the ground or what, or both sides, and they both grow up. So I've had some chance to think about that, and we think we have a fantastic solution, and we're going to share that today and show you what we're going to do. It's going to be so fun.
Our biggest challenge is making it so that the chickens don't eat the little bitty plants as they start to come up. We think we've come up with a great solution for that problem. So we need to get a few things loaded on the trailer, and then we're going to head over to the chicken moat and we're going to start putting this plan into action.
Okay, so this is what we've decided is going to work best for us. We're going to plant in these Crystalix buckets. These buckets used to have like mineral licks for like mineral salts and stuff for cattle. And when the cattle are done licking the minerals out of them, then all these ranchers and cattle farmers, they just have all these buckets available. So these you actually can't buy in a store, but if you have a farmer near you that has a lot of cattle, you might be able to get them free. And a lot of times they're just selling them, if they're selling them, for really inexpensively. So we have filled these things up last year with compost. They were amazing, but we are going to use these to grow over those trellises. A couple things that are going to be awesome about this. First of all, we were worried about the chickens being able to eat the baby plants like right through the fence and kill them before they even had a chance. These guys are too tall. The chickens inside the moat area are not going to be able to eat these little plants before they get growing. Also, we have no idea what the soil conditions are like in the area where we're going to be planting these. So to be able to control what's in these buckets, some really great compost is really going to give these plants a good start and good growing medium throughout the growing season.
The other thing is that there is still a chance of a late frost. We're on the early side to be planting some of these things. We're taking a little bit of a chance. But by planting in these buckets, if there is a frost that comes out yet, which normally by this time of year it's not a hard freeze if it is going to be one, we feel like we'll be able to protect these plants a lot easier in these buckets while they're still little. So all in all, I think it's going to be a good solution.
So we're going to be snagging 8 of these buckets from over here by these greenhouses and haul them over by the chicken moat. Yep. So we've made some decisions about what we're going to grow in these pots over those trellises. We're going to try 2 things from seed and two things from the transplants, the seedlings that we have here. Now, we took our summer plants to the farmer's market last weekend in Ava, Missouri, and we were shocked at how many of you came out to see us. It was such a blessing to be able to talk with a lot of you, and just that Saturday we sold 420 plants, which we never in a million years thought that we would sell 420 plants on one Saturday. Now for sure we have one more week's worth of plants, maybe 2 more weeks worth of plants, but if you're hoping to come out and buy some of our plants and see us, I would come to the farmer's market within the next 2 weeks. So we've decided to grow from seed 2 plants. One are the Chinese red noodle long beans. We've never grown those before. We're super excited to try them. We're going to be growing Canada Crookneck. We grew 50 feet of those last year and got about 95 or 100 winter squash. The Canada Crookneck squash are a butternut type squash. Man, they are so good. They were so sweet. Really the best squash we've ever eaten, and we're going to be growing these every year from now on. So those are the 2 things we're going to be growing from seed. Then we're going to be growing our favorite cucumber from transplant. We're going to be growing the Market More cucumber. That's a nice slicing cucumber. So we're going to take 4 of those. And then we're going to be trying some spaghetti squash. Now we have only tried spaghetti squash one other time, and that was in a year that we had a terrible squash year, so it wasn't a great success. But we're going to try it again this year, and we're going to take 4 of those to start by the orchard. So I think we have everything packed up on the trailer. Now we're going to be taking these plants and all those buckets and things over to the farm portion of our homestead. We do have 2 pieces of property right now. Last year we were able to buy another property to expand our homestead. So that is where all of these fun things are going to be. So let's head over there.
All right, we're over at the Chicken Moat, and I just want to do a quick review for those of you who may be new. When we're talking about our chicken moat, the chicken moat is an area that we've made around about an acre of land here on the farm. We've planted an orchard in the middle of this area. We're also going to be doing some gardening and some berries and other things. And then around the side, we've actually put up 2 fences. The reason that we've put up the 2 fences is to keep deer out. Deer are very good at jumping over fences. But there's 2 ways really to keep deer out. One, to build a really tall fence, at least 8 feet tall. And the other is kind of an older way of keeping deer out, and that is to put up 2 fences. Deer don't have very good depth perception, so they don't feel safe trying to jump over 2 fences that are about 6 feet apart. So what we've done is we've put up these 2 fences all the way around this area, and then we've moved our chickens in here as well, so they can now live in that 6-foot moat all the way around the orchard area. It gives them about a 6-foot wide by 850 foot long chicken run, and it's working out fantastic. But these are the trellises that we're going to be planting on today. This is what Sarah was talking about earlier. We built these a couple of weeks ago. These are built out of cattle panels. And we're actually going to be mowing here in front of here, putting those buckets, and then planting our plants so that over summer, the plants will actually grow up over this arch, and they'll give the chickens and the ducks some protection not only from the sun, but from overhead predators if any should come around. So we think it's going to be a really good system. We've built 4 of these at different locations around the chicken moat, and I think it's going to be a great, fun thing to do for the summer. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my hand mower and just mow real close to the ground so that we can put down some of our woven ground cover so that when we put the pots down, we can just mow around them easier. So we've brought along some used pieces of our woven ground cover that we pulled out of the garden from last year that we're not going to use this year, and that's what we're going to use here. So we're just going to lay a piece out, and then we'll cut it, and then we'll staple it to the ground.
Now we've decided to only plant and put buckets on the inside of the moat area so that the plants will grow from the inside up and over We're not going to put buckets on the inside and the outside. And even though it'd be nice to see them both kind of growing up at the same time and meeting at the top, there are a couple of reasons why we're not going to be planting buckets on the outside. The first reason is on this side, this is our hay field over here, and we don't want to do anything that's going to compromise the hay being cut and grown and that kind of thing. Two of these arches are actually right near the driveway. The ground there isn't very even, and there'd be risk of them just kind of tipping over because of the hill right there. And ultimately, we did this whole moat area thing to keep deer from eating our plants. And so if we plant on the outside where the deer are, there's a chance that they're just going to eat our plants, and it just completely defeats the purpose. So those are the reasons why we're just planting on the inside in buckets.
All right, we're just going to cut this weed fabric the same way we do all the time, which is with a butane torch. That is by far the easiest way to cut this because it cuts it and seals the edges all at once.
We get a lot of questions about that butane torch. We've gotten them from Walmart and we've ordered them from Amazon, so pretty easy places to find them.
Yeah, at Walmart, they're typically in the plumbing section. They're used for soldering. In fact, that's where I got this one that we're using now. All right, now that that's cut to size, we're just going to put staples in this to hold it to the ground. We use these, I think they're 8-inch landscape staples, and we're going to put a lot of them because I know from experience that this stuff, if there's any little edges that are sticking up when you come by with a lawnmower, it's going to pull it right up into the lawnmower. So better to put, on a piece like this, better to put more staples than you think you probably need.
You put yours down first and then I'll be able to pull tight.
Now that that is put down and secured, we're going to grab the first 2 buckets out of the trailer, bring them over, and we'll be able to start planting.
We are over here actually chasing the chickens and the ducks this way so that we can open these gates and they can't get out. And we noticed that we could only see 2 out of the 3 ducks, and normally they stick together pretty well. So I said, well, maybe she's in the hoop coop laying an egg. So I went over and checked on her to see where she is, and you will not believe where she is. You guys need to see this. You need to come in here and take a look in the hoop coop. We need to be careful so the chickens don't get out. Oh. She was in a nesting box. You guys, ducks don't lay eggs in nesting boxes. They lay them on the ground. First of all, I don't even really know how she got up there because I don't think that they are really agile enough to get up there, but obviously she is. And you won't believe this either. She's going broody. When I came in here before to see what she was up to, she started hissing at me, and I put my hand closer and she snapped at my hand. Now these are runner ducks. They generally do not go broody. We've never had a runner duck go broody, and that one is broody and is wanting to sit on eggs. It is just crazy. Very strange situation in the hoop coop. Okay, back to work. Yeah. Think that'll be good.
Now, as these plants start to grow, we will have to kind of train them to start their way up the trellis instead of out into the orchard or wherever they want to go. But once they're trained, I don't think we'll have any problem at all.
I think this is going to be super fun and very exciting. The first thing that we're going to plant, which will be over here, I want to do one of those winter squashes. So why don't we go ahead and plant the spaghetti squash.
Okay.
And I did bring some extra flowers that I didn't have room for in my pots. So to make it pretty, I'll put some in the front area so that there's something growing in the front too. So let's do the spaghetti squash.
And again, we're going to do 2 plants per pot.
We're each going to put 2 of these spaghetti squash in the pot, probably about 8 inches or so apart near the back edge of the pot. We're only going to dig down just as far as really the plant goes in the pot, 3 or 4 inches. Now in this pot we have 100% compost, and it is nice and composted. Because it's such rich, fertile soil, we're not having to add any amendments because they're going to do great just in here.
Last year we were able to purchase this compost in bulk, and we planted a lot of stuff in these containers last summer. And to be honest, at first it didn't seem like anything was doing really well. We were a little worried, but we think that it's because maybe the compost was still a little hot when we got it. Like it wasn't completely finished composting, because by the end of summer and ever since then, everything that we put in this compost does absolutely amazing. So we have high hopes for the plants that we're doing this year. But I do think at first maybe this compost was still composting a little bit, which kind of slowed the growth of the plants down.
Now I have just a few zinnia plants, or zinnias, however you like to say them. And I'm going to plant a few in each bucket. So as the squash are climbing up, the zinnias will get big and produce some flowers, and it will create a nice focal interest over here. I'll probably plant a couple over there too. Well, these 2 are planted and ready. Now we just have 3 more to go.
Now in this arch we're going to plant our Canada Crookneck squash, which we're doing from seed that we saved from last year. And just like the other ones, we're planting 2 per pot.
Now this time I have some extra marigolds I'm going to plant in these pots. Just a few for a splash of color, but also marigolds are really great for keeping away the pests in the garden, so maybe they'll help ward off some of the pests. Okay, the second round of buckets is done. Let's go do number 3. Over here, we're gonna do some Chinese red long beans. And they're beans that are a little bit different. They actually get like 3 feet long. They're from Baker Creek, and we've never grown them before. They're gonna be very interesting. From what I understand, they're really great stir-fried, or you can eat them fresh. Kevin loves fresh beans. So we're gonna plant a bunch of these. They're also gonna be gorgeous because they're like a bright, like magenta, kind of pinkish, reddish, purplish.
And this hoop is right next to our driveway, so it'll be kind of cool to see that color as you're coming up the driveway.
So we're gonna plant these right in the dirt, and quite a few of them too, so we can direct them over these trellises. We're gonna plant these every 6 inches in the first, or in the back half of these pots. And again, we'll probably have to train these up the trellis, but once they get hooked on, it's not going to take them long.
All right, that's number 3 planted. 1 more to go, and we'll be all finished with this project. This is the last one. Now in this one, we're going to be planting cucumbers. Now we're also going to be planting cucumbers in our garden, not just here. But I think that this will give us a good extra amount of cucumbers. But just in case the chickens peck holes in some of them or anything like that, we're also going to be planting them in the garden.
Like we said earlier, our favorite slicing cucumber is the Market Moore cucumber. We get these seeds from Baker Creek. We've been growing this variety for, I don't know, 4 years now, and we absolutely love it. Such good producers.
Yeah, it's definitely the best fresh eating cucumber we've had.
Thanks. I'm also going to plant a few flowers in here. I have some Sweet William flowers that I'm going to plant. I love Sweet William, and I think they'll be really pretty here.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for spending the day with us today, getting some plants started, and just spending a good day working around the farm. We sure do appreciate you. Hey, if you're enjoying our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and as always, the most important thing you can do to help us here is to share our videos on all of your social media. We sure do appreciate all of you for stopping by our homestead. Until next time, thank you so much, and God bless.
God bless.